Hi, my name is Alex, and welcome to Journeys Through Time, my experiences, my challenges, and solutions in running a business. And if this is the first time you'll see me, welcome. Please like and subscribe and watch the journey so far. And if you're returning, welcome back. This is episode 26. In the last episode, we were talking about in the marketing sense, when you need to do marketing, you really need to be all in. So this week, we're talking about building a marketing framework. And essentially what one is it's a plan and a roadmap. And its purpose is really to enable you to map out all your tasks. So let's talk about an example. So first, let's talk about audience. So why do you need one? Well, apart from the obvious that you need to be speaking to somebody, but it's interesting the number of people who might say, well, they don't mind who they talk to, or they want to talk to everyone. But really, identifying your ideal audience, it basically gets to your destination much quicker. So being specific about who you'd like to connect to and do business with is really in your best interests. So secondly, this framework is about, firstly, because it's using the LinkedIn platform, that's what I use primarily. It's firstly about making connections and thanking people for connecting. So why is this important? Well, in the LinkedIn world, it's been found to be much more effective simply to put in connection requests than to add notes. Much better than doing the alternative. And the thing is, people having connected with you, it's polite to acknowledge their connection to you. But rather than just say thanks, it's better to give people something interesting, like inviting them to a webinar, giving them some free information, but not wasting their time. So in a later show, I may well break down this section into more detail. The next area that's interesting in this framework is what method should you use to market? You know, how are you going to explain your products and services? Well, the most effective one that I use are webinars. Sometimes they're called workshops, they can be meetings. So why are they effective? Well, they are there as a great explainer. People are not going to take any action unless you do explain. But it's not simply enough to be like a shop and just lay out your goods on shelves. It's, in a webinar sense, it's all about taking your attendees on a journey. It's also an opportunity for them to see and to hear you, which probably will be the first time that they've had an opportunity to see you in that way and to hear you describe what you wish them to know. And it's also adding to your offline audience, because a part of a registration process is collecting people's emails. So how do you properly invite people? Well, within LinkedIn, there is a feature called LinkedIn invitations to LinkedIn events. So why is it good? Well, because the process of inviting people is very similar to connecting to people, in that that initial interaction doesn't require any extra comment, because the actual LinkedIn events contains hopefully enough information for people to make up their minds. And similar to connecting to people, it's very, it's a good idea to acknowledge people's interests and to encourage the final step, which is registration. So it is possible to run events within LinkedIn, but the best kind of webinars are external, and part of running an external event, I use Zoom, but it's not the only webinar or meeting product out there. There's a lot out there, but part of any good webinar invitation and registration process is about collecting people's emails. And that leads quite nicely to what should you use to collect emails? Well, it's commonly known as a CRM system, contact record management. Like I mentioned, I use Zoom. It contains registrations which can be exported as CSV Excel files. But if you use a third-party product, you can actually set up a degree of automation so that it detects a new registration and then automatically adds it to your CRM system. I find that an extremely useful thing to invest in. I don't normally recommend that people begin with automation, but repetitive automation can be useful, because the one thing about online registration is that you don't know when it's going to happen. And the more, if you're inviting people outside your time zone, you may be asleep when they register. So it's good to get immediate confirmations out to people when they register. And another reason CRM systems are useful in this is that when you add people to your CRM, it's effectively this list of people belongs to you. It's kind of your offline audience. And there is a subtle difference, which is worth knowing. When you regularly use a social media platform, your profile and all the people you've connected with essentially belongs to the social media channel. And, I've heard many horror stories, thankfully not frequent ones, that if there was ever a problem with your profile and it suddenly stops working, then all of your connections goes with it. So any activity in a marketing sense, which is with people's permissions, obviously, collecting people's contact details, then you've got a list that belongs to you, and that's really an important element of communicating with people. Now, CRM systems generally have multiple things that they do. I happen to use one called MailChimp, and the purpose of these extra features, well, you can have landing pages, which are single pages telling somebody about something, which invites them to take some form of action, again, in return for their contact information. You may do email campaigns, which is useful for inviting. It's another way of inviting people to meetings and webinars. It's also a way of distributing newsletters or magazines. You can even host websites. And again, you can introduce a degree of automation. So you've made connections with people, you've invited them to an event, you've run an event, you have your CRM system. So why are we doing all of this? Well, we want people to take some sort of action to join something or to buy something, right? But because you're taking people on a journey, you're not necessarily selling people. Because really, when you take people on a journey, you want people to make the decision themselves, either to have something straight away or to find out more information. And one way people can find out more is to invite them to discovery calls. And why is that important? Well, it's simply about continuing the conversation. It's inviting people to willingly spend a bit of additional time with you or one of your colleagues, usually on a one-to-one basis. And really, the best outcome is, again, it's discussing how you can help people and agreeing what the next steps might be. And lastly, a marketing framework should always include what I would describe as nurturing. And why is that important? Well, if you are running a CRM system and the only thing you ever do is invite people to, I don't know, sales meetings, webinars, etc., then, you know, a good proportion of your list will eventually get tired of it. They'll either drop your communications in spam or they will unsubscribe. So the best way to reduce that, the chance of that happening, is to provide people information of value. One of the things I do is provide a weekly newsletter, which I hope will be useful and varied. Now, it doesn't guarantee that you won't have people leaving, but I think it does contribute to people staying, in your world for longer. And you have to accept that some people will be interested in you straight away. Some people will be disinterested straight away, but the majority of people are somewhere in between, the undecided. And so you have to accept that this is a medium to long-term game when you are promoting products and services. It's just the nature of it. People aren't always ready. People don't necessarily notice what you're doing. They're busy on other things. It's all a question of timing, isn't it? When is the best time? You always hope that the time is now, but that's not always the case. So hopefully that wasn't a too long-winded way of describing the importance of a marketing framework. And probably in future weeks, I will choose one of these and delve into them in a little bit more detail. All right, catch you next time.